So the Air Jordan 1 High OG Union Varsity Red and Shadow Grey. So after selling a few pairs of sneakers that I had, I decided to grab these mainly on the resale market. I wasn't, willing to pay sort of the £400 or £500, which they were going for, I suppose, like 6 weeks ago. But then gradually they started coming down in price, and I managed to pick these ones up for £270. I had to go true to size on them, but I'm quite happy with that price. I wouldn't have paid sort of more than that. And these were originally released in 1985 in terms of the Jordan 1 silhouette, and it was made as a basketball trainer, and they were designed by Peter Moore. And this is the fourth one in terms of this particular one being with Jordan 1 collab, I suppose, with the Union. And it's a mashup of two different OG colorways, which is the Chicago and the Shadow, and I think that's quite cool on this particular sneaker. And I think when you see it in person, it works a lot more than the pictures online. And Union, obviously, they're kind of known for their Jordan 1 collabs, and first one being the black toe and the storm blue colorway, which are both really nice. And in all honesty, when the sneaker market was at its sort of lowest point last year, I nearly picked up a pair of black toes, and they were kind of going for sort of £500 at the time, but just like trying not to spend that much money on pairs of sneakers, because I know like I won't end up wearing them, so kind of held off. And for me, obviously holding off on that, the prices then have started to sort of go upwards again. So, but it is one of those things, and maybe when they sort of try to sort of re-retro those in future, then maybe I'll pick them up then, which I'm sure they will do, no Nike. And I do like the packaging that comes with this. I have the Jordan 6 Georgetowns at the moment, which I will be selling, but it's got a similar package to that, and it reminds me of that, and it's got kind of all the Jordan sort of iconography on there. And then inside the box you do get a bunch of different laces, and I still went with the sort of the muslin black pair, but you also get this yellow pair, which I'm not a fan of, and the kind of grey and black pair, which I think would work well as well. And you also get the Union tag as well, the Nike tag, and this reminds me of the OG ones because of the fact that, which I do have, and I have the Jordan 4 one from back in the 80s, and this looks very similar to that, and it's very sort of nice quality. And this is how Jordan 4 should be coming with this hang tag, or the Nike Air hang tag. And then you also get kind of the storytelling, which I won't go into because there's been other reviews, but essentially there's some drawings on the box around creating this particular sneakers. I don't know who did the drawings, whether that was by Chris at Union, or if it was like someone at Jordan Brand, but it's nice that they kind of go back in the old school way of doing sort of hand-drawn sketches before they get into sort of full design production. So with the details, it comes in a Varsity Red, Black, Sail, Shadow Grey and Muslin colourway. Obviously don't need too much explanation. Chicago colourway is iconic, everyone knows what that colourway is, and then you've got the shadow sitting around the ankle collar. So this has an airbag unit in the heel, which is encapsulated with the polyurethane midsole, and it has a rubber cup outsole. So this comes with the leather materials, and it's really nice leather materials, quite similar to other, I suppose, more sort of collab Jordan brands, especially ones like the Airship from Awake New York, and the leather quality reminds me of that. Probably not as nice as those, but very, very near to that. And obviously this being a sort of massive TR, I probably understand why they didn't go full on with the quality. And also like the sort of yellow paneling that's going around the sneaker. It's really cool. And the price for these is £175. So with the comfort and sizing, much like any other Jordan 1 really, it's not too comfortable, but it's fine for everyday use, and I'd say it's more on the medium to firm side. The insole is slightly more comfortable than usual as well, and it's very flat on the ground, and as like I said, basketball sneakers usually are, and not going to have too much arch support. And I suppose the wearing time for these is around sort of 4 to 12 hours. Usually with these leather materials, they're a bit softer, and when I put them on foot, it's quite nice. I think my only issue with these is because I went true to size, which normally Jordan ones I tend to go up half size just because of the extra space. But the price I picked these up for was worth paying, for the, I suppose, having them true to size, because I didn't really want to pay over the odds for that. But there's a little bit of tension on the pinky toe, which I tend to get, but that seems to go away after about 4 or 5 wears. But that's the reason why I end up going up half size, is I just don't like breaking trainers in. And you can go true to size on these, but obviously, like I said, with the wide footers, you do want to go up half size. And I think it's also got great grip, which you normally do have on a Jordan 1. Not as nice as the remastered versions in terms of the way they're shaped, because they have a little curvature going upwards, and I find in Jordan 1s I slip in the rain, especially at the back heel here, and it might just be the way I walk. It might just be that I'm more sort of heavy on my heels, but just thought I'd note that. But with the Jordan 1 remastered, you won't get that because of the dip. So with the look and style, I mean, it's got classic OG colorways, and it's this mashup, and like I said, you see in photos it doesn't quite work, but when you get it in hand, the Chicago red is very sort of vibrant, and also the grey really sort of works. Like I said, the pictures don't do it justice, and it's a good autumn winter sneaker in my opinion. Not to say that you couldn't wear them in sort of springtime, but summertime they're a bit too sort of heavy and bulky for that. And it's a good casual wear sneaker. Obviously it's more of a flex sneaker, so if you are going out, I don't know, let's say to a bar or clubbing, then this is a good pair to put on. And you can even sort of, I suppose, make them look a bit more undercover as well by having looser pants that kind of go over the top of these, and they look like a regular Chicago. And it comes with, like I said, all the different laces options, so you got quite a few in there, and I like the different kind of styles that you have, like the two-tone styles going on in the Jordan Union laces. I think it's really cool. So with the final thoughts, I do like the storytelling overall, and obviously it's being I'm back and being branded in that way. And the two OG mashups in terms of the sneakers themselves, it's a cool touch, and I think it works well. And the materials, like I said, it's really nice considering it's pretty much a GR type sneaker anyway at this moment in time. With the cons, comfort, obviously it's a Jordan 1 in a day, so it's not going to be the most comfortable. So with the ratings, I'm going to give the look and style a 5. Like I said, when you get them in hand, you'll see what I mean. Just the overall styling of this, the colourway, it's got a slightly more darker tone of Chicago colour, and then the shadow colour looks really nice, and then I do like the big wings logo and the stitching going around, just everything about it. It's just a good premium package, especially if you pick them up for retail. And the comfort, I'm going to go with a 4. I find Jordan 1s pretty comfortable. Obviously they're not going to be amazingly comfortable, but they're fine for everyday use. And the quality, I'm going to go with a 5. I think obviously you can get better materials, but I think it's good enough, especially for the amount of pairs they did make. And the pricing, obviously with the Jordan 1 in general, I think they're just priced too high, and that's like with all Jordan 1s. But overall, I'm going to give the sneaker a 5. I think, I really like the look of it, and I think it's a really cool sneaker, and slightly, I suppose, under the hypey sort of resale price at the moment, but I feel like in the next year or so they'll start to sort of creep back up again and be sort of similar to the Black Toes and Storm Blues, but everyone at the moment has Jordan 1 fatigue, but I do expect sort of the price on these to keep climbing eventually, so best to sort of pick them up now, especially with the way the sneaker world is going. It seems to be hyping up a lot more nowadays, so yeah, whilst you can get them cheap, definitely pick them up.